At 38,000 feet, it's important for us to make you feel at home. To this end, we are constantly redefining the onboard product we provide, as well as your dining experience. Take our cheese offering, for example. We serve over 60 selections of cheese on our network, and these come from many countries from around the world. But which cheese is right for you and your palate, and which one will best complement your food or drink selection? To make your experience more fulfilling, we ensure that our cabin crew have first-hand knowledge on the varieties and properties of all the cheeses that they will serve to you. This begins on the ground in Dubai.
The food experience at Emirates has got to be different from other airlines, because what we want to do is make sure that we express that level of Arabic generosity regardless of class that you travel. We want it to be a journey and a discovery.
What you've got to bear in mind is cheese is a living, breathing product. One batch is very different to another, and it's about getting that consistency of the product across the board.
It gives me insight, and it's like, it wowed me how they produce the cheese.
Working with our cheese partners, we hold regular training and tasting sessions focused on cheese and the range that we offer on board.
We source the very best cheeses from around Europe across our 150 different suppliers. We go to them and grade and select the great quality cheeses that will be optimum flavour and taste for the passengers.
Emirates offers over 60 varieties on rotation on board, serving over 6.7 million individual pieces in our premium cabins annually.
Our crew continuously go through training programs, whether that is the etiquette of serving our passengers or making sure that the foods that we produce get the right treatment in what we call our galleys.
And today we've engaged with some fantastic crew and people who are going to then take that knowledge and pass it on to other crew members to sort of try and educate and delight, and hopefully they'll then pass it on to their passengers.
Through these training sessions, we are able to ensure that our crews are knowledgeable when it comes to recommending and serving you the right cheese for your palate, and pairing it with the right side dish or beverage.
Generally, where there's a selection of cheeses, people will, between eating the soft and the blue cheese, they'll want to cleanse the palate. Very good for that is the sweetness of fruit, apricots, nuts.
It's a lot of things that I've learned today, especially with how the cheese is placed, how long does it take, the temperature, like how it should be paired. But having someone that has expertise and is a professional that can actually guide you, it's fantastic.
It's all part of the travel experience that we create for you. Let's take off now and show you how we prepare a classic Emirates meal with a mildly spicy twist. This is one of the highlight dishes from our Indian subcontinent route network.
Today I'm here specifically to talk to you about a very traditional favorite of mine, which also is a favorite of the entire diaspora in the Indian subcontinent. It's biryani. We're going to make it with lamb today because it's my personal favorite. So in Emirates, we serve biryani in all three classes, in first, business, and economy. We take pride. It's one of our signature dishes. We do a chicken, a lamb, and a seafood biryani. So a little bit of ghee in a hot pan. We add our meat to it. So here you go. I'm going to put that in. We're going to start with some onions and ginger garlic. Now fried onions, of course, the more the merrier. The more fried onions, the much nicer your sauce or your gravy. It really makes a big difference. Fresh chopped tomatoes without the seed. So as the tomatoes break down, we add a little bit of yogurt. Yogurt does two things. One, it adds creaminess to the sauce. And the second thing, of course, that also acts as a tenderizer to the meats. Once you've got the right consistency, then you can gradually add some water, reduce the heat at that time, let it slow cook. Again, you have to cook it slowly, otherwise it'll shrink fast and the bone will pop out and the meat will get tough. So you want to cook it very slowly. So once you reduce it down, you then cover it up. What we will do is we'll pop it into the oven, about 350 degree Fahrenheit or about 180 degrees Celsius oven for about 35 to 40 minutes. So now that we have the meat in the oven cooking, we can start working on the rice. Rice also a very important ingredient, of course, because it's the fundamental, the foundation ingredient of the biryani. The main criteria you want to look at is the rice is basmati, the rice is aged, and it is long grain. To make proper long grain separated rice, you have to make sure you soak it. So here I have soaked it for about 45 minutes to an hour in lukewarm or normal room temperature water. We're going to start off with a pot of boiling water, the garam masala whole inside. So there goes the black cardamom, green cardamom, some cinnamon sticks, lovely aroma. Love these ingredients. I mean, they really make me happy. Some black peppercorn and some cloves. So as it comes to a boil, it'll sort of remove all the essential oils from these dry spices and flavor the water. So here you go. So while it's got its boil, we're going to use the strainer and strain it out. So flavor is incorporated into the water. And then the hot water goes back inside. Some more ghee, secret ingredient, of course, if you want to call it. Rice. While this is cooking, I'll talk to you about the two ingredients that we'll put later, the flavoring ingredients. There's two things. One is saffron, of course. We've taken this whole lovely grains of saffron and then we soak it in milk or water and come up with a nice saffron liquid or a saffron color or a saffron essence, as you may call it. There's another flavor which we call as kevra. It's a cactus-like plant which has a lot of flavor. So we actually distill this juice that comes out of it, and then we get this lovely aromatic that comes out of this plant called as kevra. So once we have the rice in the pot, we will get it steamed by getting it wrapped again. There you go. So here's our mutton that's been cooking in the oven. Let's open it up and see what surprise we have. Smell that. Beautiful. When the masala or the sauce or the gravy is done, it starts oozing its oils or the fat, and that's the sign that it's there. And don't get scared if you have too much ghee or too much oil on the surface of the dish. I mean, it is something that will be absorbed by the rice, and that's the nature of the dish, and you're going to have a lovely time, believe me. So here you go. So while this is simmering off, we will add the kevra water and the saffron to the rice. Just a little bit on different spots. Just a little bit. I mean, too much will overpower it. Too little will not give you the experience that you're looking for. Once you've done, now you can see the rice, individual grains, all separated. You just toss it lightly, very lightly. Once both the components are ready, we will then get into assembling it together. Assembling is equally important as cooking it, because that's when the final product comes out. I mean, if you don't assemble it right, it's probably not going to get the same experience that you want it to be. It's levels, it's layers. So we're going to start with the rice. So one layer of rice. A little bit of ghee again, just to add that flavor inside. Some ginger, a little bit of fried onions, some coriander, chopped mint. cashew nuts, raisin, a little bit of saffron. Meat. And then you continue that again. Rice, ginger, fried onions, coriander and mint, some raisins, cashew nuts, and some saffron. And then on the final layer, you only put fried onions, raisins, and cashew nuts. There you go. So once you have this assembled, we will put it in the oven for about 10-15 minutes. Slow oven, of course, about 120, 140. So there you go. Now we've got the biryani ready out of the oven. Hot, nice. So let's open it up. Wonderful aroma. I'm hungry now. It's a signature dish for us. It could be on any route from Dubai or coming into Dubai. So enjoy. Thank you very much.
In a global market, there are many culinary secrets, and these vary from region to region and dish to dish. In the Middle East, we have a little gem of our own. If you live in the Middle East, then chances are that you know about these little beauties. They have a variety of names, but the most common is black lime or lumi. Used to add a sour yet smoky flavour to your culinary dishes, the lumi is really just a dried lime. They have a very strong and distinctive taste and can be used whole, sliced or crushed depending on the dish. Today, let's take a look at how to make your own lumi. It's really very simple. In a pot, add water and salt. A lot of salt. This saline bath will remove the bitterness from the skin and help hydrate the lime. It also kills any bacteria on the skin and prevents mold. Boil the limes for about 15 to 20 minutes. Green limes will go a bit darker, whilst yellow limes tend to stay yellow. After boiling, remove the limes and let them cool. Once they are cool to the touch, place them in the sun and let Mother Nature do her thing. Some people also dry the limes in the oven or a food dehydrator, but we prefer the natural method. Now just leave them and come back later when the skin of the lime has turned hard and it has become brown. Your first lumi. Keep an eye out later in the program to see how we use a lumi in one of our own signature dishes. Mouth-watering stuff. And speaking of mouth-watering, here is a main course to really sink your teeth into.
Today I'll be showing you how to make our signature recipe of majboos with the prawn. Get the prawns, we put this majboos spice mix and marinate with half the quantity of the majboos what we will use for the recipe. This has to be marinated for almost half an hour to get the aroma of all the spices. Put the chili powder a little bit, tomato paste and salt. Mix all and leave it outside for 20 minutes. So heat the pan, oil, a bit of butter, and we start to saute the onions and the garlic. The majboos is one of my favorites since I'm living in Dubai from almost 14 years. So it takes almost 2 minutes. And then we add the prawns and stir for 5 minutes. Our passengers love the majboos, what we prepare, and usually they ask for the recipes, and we are happy to share. We lower the heat, add the tomato paste again, the fresh tomato chopped, chopped coriander, 2 spices, 1 lumi, and mix all together. Smells very good. So now we are ready to put the rice. We wash the rice 2 or 3 times. It's a basmati rice. and then soak it for almost like half an hour if it's warm water, 1 hour if it's cold water. And now we added mix all the ingredients together. It's beautiful. A bit more salt, boiling water. Till it gets boiled, and then we have to lower the heat, and we cover it because we need the rice to be cooked slowly with the steam by itself with all the flavors inside. The mashboos is one of the most popular Emirati dish. It's made mainly with rice, and it can be cooked with chicken, lamb or seafood. I love this dish. It's simple, it's full of authentic flavors. You can easily prepare it, but at the same time you need the special touch to make it special.
Sourcing the finest produce and products from all corners of the globe is a priority for the team at Emirates. We always try to partner with the right suppliers to provide bespoke products that region or country is famous for. And in Sri Lanka, that is tea.
Emirates is so committed to the passenger experience, and we go around the world to ensure that we work with the best suppliers. Sri Lankan tea is very famous since the British colonial time, and Ceylon tea is considered the best black tea around the world.
It's an incredible relationship that we have with Emirates. You know, it started in 1992, and what signifies that relationship is the level of detail and the level of involvement that Emirates Airline have had with us.
Incredible, innovative company to work with, who are willing to work with us and design particular products that are purely focused and exclusive for us on Emirates. Their signature teas that we provide in first and business class are nowhere to be found but on our airline.
So the base for this Emirates signature tea is the Dumbagasala FBOP1, and what we have done is integrate that with natural rose because it is a soft and beautifully sensuous scent. We have added a little bit of natural almond, and what the almond does is, with its light bitterness and its nuttiness, it really sort of defines the rose, and then finally ginger with its light, sweet spiciness sort of gives it a beautiful lingering finish. And so you have a tea that is light, it's bright, it has character, and yet it is enormously complex in combining these wonderfully synergistic rose, almond and ginger.
It's wonderful to see that a family-owned business is willing to keep innovating and coming up with new products.
We have an enduring commitment to nature because it is nature that ultimately crafts our teas.
When we place the order, the tea leaves are still in the bush. So that is the kind of fresh tea that we get.
Freshness is important because it is what dictates flavor. Freshness is also important because it is what produces wellness and the richness of natural antioxidants in tea. You have the intensity with the floral and the citrus notes of the Earl Grey, which is more attuned to a traditional tea drinker. You have the beautiful, naturally caffeine-free infusion in chamomile, floral, gentle, very feminine. You have the intensity, the earthiness and a little bit of malt that comes from the Ceylon Supreme. You have a green tea reflecting the taste preferences of Asian customers. You have the English breakfast, which is a global favorite for everyone. Moroccan mint green tea, so it's a Moroccan hospitality tradition. And so it's a variety of different teas for different occasions, different moods, different cultures, and beautiful in pairing with different types of food.
The crew are trained to recommend the right blend of tea depending on the time of the day or the route or the meal they have at that point of time. We as Emirates, we are very happy that we are serving absolutely fresh tea to our customers.
It's time for my favorite meal, dessert. Today we'll show you a dish that delights both young and old, and even includes a healthy element to it. just to make it all the more sweet.
Today I will cook for you a crepe filled with cream cheese and an apple compote, which we, for example, serve in our economy class, flying from America to Dubai. First step, we take our Granny Smith apples. Really like to use those apples because they have a nice acidity, they're not sweet and they are pretty strong, so they last very well. So you would start peeling the apples. You can leave a little bit of the skin on, or you take it completely off. This is absolutely for you to decide. I like it if they're really nice and clean. Cut the wedges. It's important that you don't have the core inside because the core is pretty hard and bitter and you don't want to have that in your compote. We have some cinnamon sticks here. You can use cinnamon powder as well, but I like to use the cinnamon stick. I think it gives a better appeal and actually has a better taste. So we have approximately 200 ml of water and we do 50 gram of sugar. I would suggest to just cook them on low heat because the apples can cook pretty quickly, and then you have a apple mousse but not an apple compote anymore. So just put them on medium heat. Probably takes 5 to 10 minutes maximum. In the meanwhile, we will produce our crepe dough. For crepe dough, you should take a little bit of butter. Melt the butter before. We use just a normal all-purpose flour. You have your sugar. You take your eggs, 3 to 4 eggs. You take some of our fresh vanilla pods, add them to the butter. It's important that you don't overheat the butter. It's really just melting the butter, adding the vanilla pods, and then adding the butter to the flour, the sugar, and the eggs. You could add the milk already at that point of time, but I suggest not to do it because you don't want to have lumps in your batter. So it's the best way to add the milk last. So you can see the butter is already pretty smooth. There are no big lumps in it. And as we add the milk, it will become much softer and then easier to portion for our crepe. So our dough is nice and smooth. Okay, so our apples should be ready. Exactly as we like them to be, nice and crunchy. You can still taste the sourness, but it's actually has a sweet touch to it, and the cinnamon adds a very good flavor. To finish them off, we just add our soaked raisins. Butter gives a very nice flavor, but at the same time it burns very quickly. So just keep the pan on a medium heat, add your butter in it, let it melt, let it heat up slowly. You will see when the butter is evenly spread across the bottom of the pan and starts sizzling, then it's the right temperature to add the batter. Let the batter run into the pan on one side and then move the pan to distribute the batter across the bottom. That ensures that your crepe has the same consistency, same thickness all over, and you don't have any thick layers of dough. The cooking takes probably 2 to 3 minutes on one side. You can see that the batter is drying up where the heat is a little higher. Where there is a bit more liquid, you can see that it takes some time to cook through. And you keep moving and you can see it's not sticking anywhere. It is just that little bit of butter which keeps the surface of the pan nice and smooth. So if you want to try it, you can try and flip it, or you take a little palette and you can flip it in the pan. On our flight, we serve the grapes with the apple compote hot. But it's actually also a very nice dish in the summer, maybe as a refresher or snack in the afternoon. You can actually serve them chilled, just fresh out of the fridge. When you fill the grapes, just be careful not to use too much of the water you cook them in. So you add your apples, you add your raisins, take your cream cheese. In this case, we just took the cream cheese. You can keep it as it is, or you just add a little bit of vanilla and lemon zest to it. Just a small dot on top. Fold over your grape half, flatten it gently, and fold it one more time to a triangle. Just drizzle some over it, just gives some additional flavor. You can add one more spoon of cream on the side, some of raisins. If you like to finish it off with a little bit color, you could just use a mint leaf. And voila, here's your dish, ready to enjoy. Bon appetit!
We know all good things must come to an end, but we hope you've enjoyed another peek behind the curtains into the Emirates world of food. We remind you to take a quick snap of the menu at the end of this program or get online and try one of our recipes at home. Till next time, happy travels.